Everyone, in this video, I'm going to be talking through some of the core components of the syllabus, and I especially want to focus on some of the major assignments for the course and just give you an overview of what to expect and what to start thinking about as you're getting ready to engage with those. So here I have the syllabus pulled up. You can see kind of the basic information about the course, when it will be offered. It is a fully asynchronous online course, and so each week will start on Wednesday at 12 o'clock a.m. And then we'll end at 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday. And I've intentionally designed the course that way so that you have time on the weekend to do course assignments and readings, recognizing that many of you taking this course are working professionals. You should expect to spend about 6 to 9 hours per week on readings, viewings, activities, and assignments. So there are some weeks that are heavier than others, but kind of plan for that as you think about the time to allocate for this course, because we do not have in-class sessions. So there is more time that should be spent in diving into the course content and engaging with different assignments as a result. This gives a course description, some of the goals. This SLA course is one of my favorite courses to teach. I love talking with students and thinking with students about the process of second language acquisition. You're going to develop a deep understanding of different theories and concepts and research related to this topic. And you'll have a chance to also reflect upon your own language learning experiences and then think about what that means for students in your classroom or future classroom. And learning outcomes are here as well, connected to how they're being assessed. Here we have our course text. I want to move to the assignments. Okay, so you can see here in the grading at a glance, the way that you will be assessed in this course. 30% of your grade will be based on the discussion forums because that is the main vehicle through which we are engaging with the course content, the way that you're sharing your takeaways and your sense making around the readings. So I do weigh that pretty heavily in your final grade. 10% of your grade will be practice quizzes. That is a pretty straightforward grade. You can pretty easily get the points for that as long as you do the readings and then spend the time engaging with those quizzes. You can retake them as many times as you want up until the deadline when they are due. So if you take good notes and you've done the readings, it shouldn't be too hard to get full points for those. Then you have 2 papers that are part of a case study, each worth 15% of your grade for a total of 30%. I'll talk through that in a moment. And then your final paper, which is the major paper for this course, is the standardized assessment critique, which is worth 30% on its own. So here I give some more detailed information about each of those assignments. One thing to note for the discussion forum, which I do also talk about in the separate video focused just on the discussion, is that I'm looking for you to engage really deeply and meaningfully with the readings and or viewings. I do look to see that you're engaging with more than just one reading. I look to see that you are citing and referencing concepts in the readings, that you are engaging deeply and showing me not only that you've read the material, but that you're thinking critically about it. And in your responses, I also similarly look for depth, right? So that you're not just saying, I agree, or good post. Oh, sorry about that. I just lost the syllabus. There we go. That you're saying, I agree, or excellent idea, but that you're asking questions, that you're continuing the conversation, that your response is more than just a sentence or two to your peers. So really making it like a conversation that takes the conversation further rather than just ends the conversation. So for the case study, I've provided a rubric and assignment description that gives a lot more information about it. So please read through that in detail. But what you'll be doing is applying what you're learning about second language acquisition theory and research to a real life language learner and a real life language learning context. Ideally, those two will be connected, but if that's not possible, that is okay. And so for the first part, you're going to identify a language learner, which could be a multilingual learner in a K-12 classroom, where English is the medium of instruction, and that student is learning English as a new language as they are while also being a user of another language. It could be a student who's learning in a bilingual program, whether it's an English dominant student or a Spanish or Portuguese dominant student. So they're learning language. Or it could be an undergraduate who's learning in a world language classroom or any other context you can find where somebody is learning a new language. And so your goal for this part of the case study is to develop some sort of tool for gathering information, like an interview protocol, a survey, a questionnaire, or perhaps some combination of those to be able to get more information about the learner and their language learning experience. And I do encourage you, if you're doing an interview, to record it so that you have some transcript of their speech that you can write up to be able to use that as evidence in your paper. So you're going to be learning about that learner and their experiences, and then connecting those what you learned to SLA theories and concepts. For the second part, you're then going to observe a language learner in the context of language learning. So if it's the same language learner, that's great. So a multilingual learner in their classroom, or you're the undergraduate that you interviewed in that language learning space. If it's not possible to do both, it's okay if it's a different language learning context, that's fine. But it's nice when you can make that connection if possible. So the focus for case study part 2 is you're trying to understand how language is being used in that space and how the classroom environment is shaping opportunities for your focal student or other multilingual learners to meaningfully use and learn language. So I provide you with a protocol and really specific instructions on kind of how to document your notes and what to look for. And then you're going to be, again, connecting what you learn and observe to SLA theories and concepts. So that's the 2 components of the case study. I mentioned the practice quizzes already. And then finally, you have your standardized assessment, analysis, and critique. So all states are mandated to conduct an annual assessment of multilingual learners' English language proficiency level each year until they are exited out of being considered an English learner or a multilingual learner. And so you're going to be looking at one standardized assessment, and you're going to be analyzing it and critiquing it based on what you learned during our weeks where we focus on assessment. So this is each of our core courses in the TESOL BDL program has a central assessment, and this is that assessment for this course. So if you are pursuing certification in TESOL BDL, you will be uploading this also to TaskStream, our electronic portfolio, as one of your critical performance tasks. So definitely for this assignment, but also for all of them, really pay attention to the rubric and what I'm looking for, because you'll have to meet standard on the rubric for each of those categories in order to receive your certification. And you'll have opportunities to revise if you need, but it's nice to not have to do revisions and just hit it the first time around. So again, this is your chance to kind of dive deeper into an assessment, a standardized assessment for multilingual learners. All right. Those were the main things I wanted to discuss. Please do look through all of these statements, especially around AI and making sure that, if you're using ChatGPT to help you brainstorm, generate some ideas, okay, but make sure that anything you write is your own, and that you are making sure not to violate academic honesty in any other ways. And if you scroll all the way down, you see our course schedule, where you can find all the topics, the readings and viewings. And I mention often that there are some additional videos and resources embedded in Brightspace, but otherwise we'll list things here. Everything that you need apart from the course text will be available on Brightspace for you to download and view. So you'll be able to see that. And I also will occasionally put up video lectures as well to kind of dive deeper into the topic with you, or unpack some of the readings with you. So those are all part of the course content. So yeah, and then at the very bottom, not to be forgotten, is the full APA citations for any of the resources we use in this course. I do expect you to cite both in your discussion posts and in any papers that you write in APA format. This is I give this to you as a Word document so you can copy and paste directly into your papers or into your discussion board. So you have the full citations here for all of the readings that we'll be engaging with. So that is it. I'm really looking forward to working with you this semester, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks.